Welcome to DRB Tunnel Solutions training. In this video, we're going to take a look at Patheon plan setup and management. We're first going to start by going through the process of adding a new plan. The term plan refers to both automatic reloading plans and time-based plans that expire and do not reload. So the first decisions you have to make when setting up a plan is whether or not it is going to be time-based or unit-based. Time-based means it either expires or reloads at the end of a time period, where unit-based means it will either expire when the units are done or automatically reload the number of units once the units are used up. A typical unlimited monthly plan is set up as a time-based automatic reloading plan. We already have an unlimited good plan, but we're going to go through the steps that would take to set up an unlimited good. First, you have to decide the period in months. Unlike our legacy product, Patheon gives you the ability to specify more than 1 month periods. So for example, you could have a plan that charges every 2 months. The description would be used to help differentiate one plan from another. The promotional text field is what shows up in the enhanced web application for specials. The period, like I said, would be the period that you'd be able to use the plan until the next reload happens. You can also set period wash limits. If it's not an unlimited plan, you could do something like this, limit 2 per day, that charges every 2 months. And in this instance, you would set up a daily wash limit of 2. You could also set monthly limits, 1 wash per day for the month on average. Now, if you did something like this and you didn't set a daily limit, they could technically wash 31 times in one day and use up their allotment for that period. Whenever you set up a period wash limit, you can also enable rollover washes. So for example, if you have 5 that are unused out of this 31 at the end of the period, they'll roll over to the next period. Keep in mind, this is the maximum rollover, so it's not cumulative. It'll just give us a total maximum of 36 in the future. But if we were doing a limit 2 per day that we're recharging every month, we would set up a daily wash limit of 2. We'd set the period to 2 months. As far as reload settings, by default, the plans reload on the anniversary date of when they are purchased. So if you purchase the 1st through the 28th of the month, you'll have that same reload date in the next subsequent month. If you purchase on the 29th through the 31st, the plan will reload automatically on the 28th of the next month. Each plan also has a specific grace period and retry period that goes along with that plan. A grace period is how many days can you continue to use the plan when we haven't yet charged the credit card for the reload. The retry period is the number of days that we will try charging that credit card. The terms and conditions will be what is displayed not only on the plan authorization receipt, but also on screen when you're purchasing from an XPT. The signature requirement will make sure that a signature line shows up on the XPT and at an attended terminal. You can turn this off or on in the individual plan setup. On page 2 of the plan setup is where you set up which product you will be giving. Since this is a good wash based plan, the wash that we fire will be a good wash. Now, the concept of a wash tier means that if you have a large organization and you don't have the same washes at other sites, you may have a second tier wash that will be given instead of the first tier wash if that first tier wash is unavailable. So for example, if you sold a good full service plan and customer redeems at an exterior only location, they would redeem the wash tier of a good wash exterior, even if their plan is for a good wash full service. Since our organization only has the good wash, we're going to select the good wash as our wash tier. The third step of plan setup is the pricing tier. You tell the system whether or not your plan will be taxable, and you apply the tax code to the sale. You can split taxes if you have multiple tax codes in the future by a percentage of taxes. You can tell the system whether or not you want the plan to be tax-inclusive price. Most folks will set this to no, so that they can have the amount of the plan plus tax be charged every month since it's to credit card, and we don't have to worry about making change. Now, a very important step of initial plan setup is whether or not this plan will allow multi-vehicle pricing. You have to set up your vehicle tiers at the very beginning of the plan setup. This is not something that can be added later. If you purchase this plan, the first vehicle will be $19.99, a second vehicle on a multi-car plan will be $18.99, and a third, fourth, fifth vehicle on into the future will be $17.99. A termination fee can be charged if the customer has not been a plan for so many days. So for example, if you want to prevent a customer from canceling before the first reload, put in a time frame and a fee that would be charged if you terminate within that first time frame of the plan. You can also determine whether or not this plan will allow refunds if you terminate the plan by default. Keep in mind that even if you say yes here, you can always slide off the refund on a per transaction basis. The final step of plan setup is activating the plan at the individual sites where the plan will be sold. So you can select those sites here. If you activate it at the web, it will be able to be purchased online in the enhanced web application. If you activate it at your individual sites, it can only be sold on site. Since this is a strange plan, a 2-month plan, and it's limited, we're going to only sell it on site at the washes. We won't put it on the kiosk, but it'll only be available to be sold from the point of sale terminal. And the plan is now active. So that's all that's required to set up a plan. Let's talk about a few variations. A unit-based plan that has a certain number of units and then expires will be unit-based automatic reload no, and you go through the rest of the steps. A standard time-based plan that reloads after every month will be time-based automatic reload yes and period of 1 month. To set up your cash-based plans, semi-annual, monthly, bi-monthly, you can set up a time-based plan that doesn't reload but is good for a certain number of months. This would be like an annual pass membership, for example. So as you can see, just by selecting the type and the automatic reload option and the time frame, you're able to set up many different types of plans. Sometimes customers will ask us in a one-off way, hey, I really like the good option, but I'd like to maybe have good with tire shine or something that isn't offered by one of your other plans. With our legacy system, this would mean setting up multiple plans, which is very difficult to do. However, in Patheon, setting up multiple plans is pretty easy. You can simply hit the duplicate button, give it a new name, Unlimited Good with Tire Shine, for example. Use the same settings. You may have to update your terms and conditions for a new plan. You'll have to add the additional service that will be redeemed for the plan. So we add the a la carte item Tire Shine. We change the pricing. Notice here we have multiple vehicles set up, but they're all the same price. This gives us the flexibility to add multi-vehicle pricing in the future. However, every vehicle is charged at the same amount today. And the last step would be activating the plan at the sites where you want it to be sold. And just like that, we've set up an unlimited good with Tire Shine plan that charges an additional $5 a month to give Tire Shine alongside of the good. When you no longer want to sell the plan, you simply hit the name of the plan by clicking on the hyperlink and scroll down to the sites where it's active, and you'll deactivate or remove the sites from the list. You can keep the plan active if you want it to redeem. Removing the plan from the sites will basically prevent it from being sold. The fact that the plan is still active will allow it to be redeemed on site. If you want to discontinue the sale and redemption of a plan, you can deactivate the plan by hitting the edit pencil next to sites, selecting inactive, which deactivates the sites and deactivates the plan for sale. Thank you for watching this video on plan setup in Patheon.